Welcome back, students. Good morning. We had started doing the section C of unit 3rd and the chapter name is The Shadow and the Flash. So with a quick recap, Paul Ticklon and Lloyd Inwood, they were friends and they were rivals of each other, and the narrator was the peacemaker between them. After finishing college, they started doing their research, and the topic of research for both of them was similar, that was invisibility, to make a person invisible. Lloyd wanted to achieve invisibility. Lloyd wanted to achieve invisibility by making the object, the paint with the absolute black paint, so that no light would be reflected and it will not be visible to human eye. When the thing will be absolutely black, perfectly black, then it will be invisible to others. And Paul Ticklon wanted to achieve invisibility by making the object transparent, so that all the light should pass through it and no light should be reflected back, so therefore no shadow will be formed. So that's how these two persons wanted to achieve the concept of invisibility, and they both were able to achieve that target. They both were able, they were successful in their experiments. So let's see what happened after that. Later that afternoon, I went to meet Paul. As I came spinning up the driveway on my wheel means my car, Paul called me from the tennis court. I got down and went over, but the court was empty. As I stood there, gaping open-mouthed, gaping means wondering, open-mouthed, a tennis ball struck me on the arm. As I turned about, I saw a rainbow flash appearing and disappearing and darting over the ground. Darting means running over the ground. I realized with amazement that Paul too had succeeded. I ran after the rainbow flash with the racket in hand. Racket means tennis racket. When I had laid the racket upon it for half a dozen strong blows. Half a dozen means at least 6 strong blows. Paul's voice rang out. Enough, enough. Oh, ouch, stop. I only wanted you to see my metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means my experiment, something that I am able to achieve, the change in me. So that's how the narrator found that he was able, Paul Ticklon was able to achieve transparency. Only a flash of light, whenever he moved, a rainbow flash was appearing and disappearing. So other than that, he was invisible to the narrator. A few minutes later, we were playing tennis. I was at a disadvantage, of course, for I could have no knowledge of his position, except for when he flashed like a rainbow. So whenever he came in contact with light or something, so then only his rainbow flash was visible. But other than that, he was invisible to the narrator. And they were while playing the tennis, narrator was, so here you can see him sitting on a stool in the tennis court, and there are 2 invisible persons here. So earlier he was alone, he was playing with Paul tennis in Paul's home. So in the midst of our play, midst means in the middle of our play, close to the net, I saw a ball rebound. Rebound means re-jump in the mid-air and empty space. At the same instant, some feet away, Paul Ticklon gave out a rainbow flash. Surely he could not be the one from whom the ball had rebounded. With sickening dread, dread means thought, fear. Sickening means a dreadful thought. Thought. I realized that Lloyd Inwood had come upon the scene. To make certain, I looked for his shadow, and there it was, a sharp, shapeless blotch moving along the ground. Blotch means patch, moving along the ground. I felt sure that all the long years of rivalry were about to culminate. Culminate means finish up, end in a frightful battle. Frightful means very dangerous battle. Battle means fight. I heard a snarl as of a wild beast. Snarl means a shout of a wild beast, sound of a wild beast, and an answering snarl. I saw the dark blotch move swiftly. Swiftly means quickly across the court, and a brilliant burst of varied colored. Varied colored means rainbow color, various colors. Light moving with equal swiftness to meet it. And now the narrator could see both Paul Tickleon and Lloyd Inwood. They had started fighting with each other. Although they were invisible to each other also, but they were running towards each other on the tennis ground. And then the shadow and flash came together, and there was the sound of unseen blows, and they were blowing each other. They were fighting with each other and giving blows to each other in the face, in the back, in arms, and everywhere. The net went down before my frightened eyes. The net, the tennis court net, it had fallen apart, it had come down. So they were not bothering about anyone, they were just fighting. They were so angry with each other that how could they succeed, how could the other person succeed in his experiments. So that was the agitation, the aggression of other person's success was finally coming on that out of both of them, and that's why they were fighting. And the noonday sun beat down with dazzling brightness. Dazzling means very bright on the naked tennis court. Naked means complete. Naked means open tennis court. All I could see was the blotch of shadow and the rainbow flashes. The dust rising from the invisible feet, the earth tearing up from beneath the straining foot grips, and the wire screen bulged once or twice as their bodies hurled against it. Hurled means hit against it. The wire net had broken down. That was all. And after a time, even that ended. There was no more flashes, and the shadow had become long and stationary. So finally, both of them, when they were fighting, they started fighting. They fought so fiercely, they fought so badly that ultimately both of them killed each other. And finally, the narrator, when earlier he was able to hear the sounds of the blows, he saw the net had broken apart. The sound of the blows were coming, but finally the blows ended up, and he was not able to see any flash of rainbow flash or the blotch of the patch of shadow. So that means both of them, Paul Tickleon and Lloyd Inwood, they had died. So you see, students, that competitiveness, the jealousy and the feeling of competitiveness could bring such devastating end to your life. So competition is good, healthy competition should be there, but a rivalry, an obsession for competition should never be there in any of us. So that's all in this video, in this chapter. I hope you have understood the chapter, the explanation and the reading. Read the chapter carefully, understand it, and if you have any difficulty, call me or message me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.